Hey everybody, what is up? It's Ruby. Today I have a video that I am honestly so excited for. Personally, I have not been this excited to sit down and talk to you guys and film a video in a really long time. If any of you guys have been following me for a while, you probably know that over the course of like the last 6 months, SoulCycle and cycling in general has just become such a huge part of my life. But specifically SoulCycle, because I've been cycling now for about 1.5 years. Fitness is something that's always been very important to me, but this year in particular, I'm really trying to make it the year of fitness and just feeling the best that I've ever felt and doing what is best for my body and my mind. And SoulCycle, where do I even begin? It has really just been the icing on the cake when it comes to like my workout routine and like my fitness routine and what I do. And I post about it all the time, specifically on my Instagram stories. Basically anytime that I'm on my way to a SoulCycle class, I'll either post a video while I'm walking there, I'll post a video in like the bathrooms or the locker room. And I've actually been getting a lot of messages from you guys saying that you're really inspired by like how often I go and like my dedication to the program, and if I could make a video about kind of like how I got started and found a love for SoulCycle. And I've actually been wanting to make this video for a really long time, so I'm really happy that some of you guys like already had that thought in your head and wanted to see this video from me. So yeah, basically today I'm going to be talking all about my SoulCycle journey. I also just want to say that I do not work for SoulCycle. I've never worked for SoulCycle. SoulCycle isn't partnering with me on this video, although that would be amazing if they ever wanted to. But I'm simply just making this video because I am so incredibly passionate about SoulCycle and I just want to kind of share my story with you guys. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of start from the beginning because for those that know me at all, or like I said earlier, I've been really into cycling for about the last 1.5 years. And I used to go to a studio like really far uptown on the east side, and it was an independently owned cycling studio. I loved it. I was going like 3 to 4 times a week, but then my favorite instructor left. And for anybody that is like really into any sort of fitness class, you know that once you like make a bond with a fitness instructor, it's really hard to go to anybody else's class. So my favorite instructor left, and it was also just really out of the way. And the only reason that up until that point I hadn't looked for another cycling studio that was closer to me was because I loved that instructor so much. But once she left, and she actually moved out of state, so otherwise I was gonna follow her to like whatever cycling studio she moved to, but she moved out of state. And so after that, I realized that I maybe wanted to look for a new cycling studio. At the same time that that was happening, my boyfriend and I actually moved into our first apartment together. For those that don't know, my boyfriend, his name's Kevin. We live together. I love him with all my heart. I talk about him all the time. Anyways, we moved in together to a wonderful apartment where we still live to this day. Obviously, it hasn't been a full year yet. We don't have to worry about like renewing our lease or anything like that. But where we moved to, there is a SoulCycle exactly 2 blocks away from our apartment. So literally, it's like a 3-minute walk from the front door of my apartment building to the front door of the SoulCycle studio that I typically go to. So I kind of took this as a sign. I thought, okay, maybe it's like finally time to try SoulCycle. To be quite honest, up until that point, I really, and I'm gonna be totally honest, I really thought that SoulCycle was just like overhyped. It's also definitely really expensive, and I do want to stress how grateful I am that I am able to afford classes there, but it really is expensive. And the studio that I was previously going to was like a fraction of that. It was literally like exactly half of what like a pack of classes at SoulCycle costs. But I decided, you know what, I really want to give it a try. The worst that happens is I don't like it and I'll find another studio. So I remember I signed up for my first class. It was on a Tuesday morning and it was with Danita, who, if any of you guys are either visiting New York or you live in New York and you love cycling, you have to go take her class. To this day, she is seriously like my favorite instructor. And I signed up for a class that I believe was at like 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. It's one of the early morning classes. I still typically only ride like really early in the morning. I got to the studio like 20 minutes early, not knowing anybody, not knowing a thing about Danita. I just knew that her class was during the time frame that I was looking to take a ride. I wasn't necessarily nervous for the class because up until that point I'd been riding for about 1 year, but you know, it's a new studio, it's a new environment, it's a new atmosphere. You don't really know like if you're gonna you know, fit in or feel the same way, or, you know, be as inspired as like when you leave a workout there as when you did at your old studio. Even though I had been riding for quite a while at that point, I actually rode in the back row, my first SoulCycle class. So for those that don't know, there are 3 main rows of bikes, and I rode in the back row just because even though I'm a pretty seasoned rider and I could have probably started off in the front row, I just kind of wanted to like sit back and like observe the class. Now the cycling studio that I used to go to was a bit more of like road bike style cycling, whereas SoulCycle is a lot more rhythmic. It involves a lot of choreography, and you're doing crunches on like the handlebar and push-ups, and you're kind of dancing like while you're riding. It's a lot of kind of like patting your head and rubbing your stomach. So I wasn't really sure what to expect. However, I remember in that first class, like it was a combination of just like the music, the dancing that was involved, and Danita, who like I said is the most incredible instructor. I was hooked after that one class. Actually, even before the class was over, I knew that this was my new community. I remember in that first class, I can't even believe I'm gonna admit this, but I was laughing, I was crying, I was yelling. I felt so strong. I felt so free to just kind of like put all of my emotions out there and just ride and take the time to like take care of myself and help make myself the strongest version of me that I can be. I left class that morning so inspired, knowing that I had a new community, and yet I didn't even know anybody in that class. Which is one of the things that I love about SoulCycle, because now I've made a couple friends that like every time I see them walk in, like I can say hello to them and talk to them before class, and I know the instructors, but even my first class when I didn't know anybody, I felt so supported. And so like to my friends and my followers that are always like, oh, I want to take a SoulCycle class, I just don't know, I'm kind of nervous, what if everybody's like looking at me and judging me? Let me tell you, nobody's judging you. The music is blaring, the lights are so dim that I can hardly see the person like riding next to me, and also like the ride itself and the classes are so challenging that like I am only paying attention to myself, and so is everybody else. Nobody's looking at you, nobody cares what you look like, but the point is like you're there and you're there to better yourself, and that's what everybody is there for. Everybody that's in that class, including the instructor, is there for one common goal. And that is just to push yourself and make yourself stronger, not just physically, but also mentally. Because working out for me and fitness for me is far beyond something like to help me physically or something to help me like see physical changes. For me, it's such a mental thing. It really just improves my mood. It makes me feel so much better, and it's such a perfect way to start my day. To think that there was a time that I really didn't want to give SoulCycle a chance is kind of crazy. But to be honest, like you do hear like some negative things about it. You know, some people say it's like culty, or it's not like the best workout that you can get, or it's like super, super expensive. Yes, it is crazy expensive, but I will say that it is so worth it. I look forward to my cycling classes like nobody's business. Literally, I remember after my first ride, I was like, I have to go back tomorrow morning. And I did. I went back at the same time the next morning, a completely different instructor, still had a great time, but I was just like, I have to go back. It truly is just such a warm and welcoming community, and everybody is so positive. And I think in this day and age and like the climate that we are in, like we all need a little bit more positivity in our lives. So ever since then, I now ride about 3 times a week. For those that don't know, I work out about 6 days a week. I do 3 days of cardio, which is my SoulCycle classes, and then the other 3 days I do weight training at the gym. And also let me just say, for any of those that are a little bit skeptical, or any of those that say like SoulCycle isn't an effective workout or whatever, I could not disagree more. When I started my SoulCycle journey, I would say after like the first month of really like committing to it, and also really just being a little extra aware of like what I was eating and putting into my body, I saw a drastic physical change. I've always been a very like naturally fit and lean person. I have a very high metabolism, which I get from my dad. So working out has never been something that I've done to lose weight. But like I said, after that first month was done, I noticed a difference in my abs. I noticed a difference in my arms, which is crazy because cycling, obviously your legs are what is engaged for the most part. But if you work the program and you work it like it's supposed to be done, the changes you will see are honestly so amazing and so inspiring, and it makes you just want to keep going back. So that's kind of my like SoulCycle journey, how I got started. I hope it maybe inspires some of you guys to you know, take your fitness into your own hands and try something new, or even if you're already into fitness, just to try another like avenue of how to like take care of yourself physically. If you did enjoy today's video and you want more videos kind of focused around like health, fitness, and wellness, let me know in the comments down below. Please subscribe if you haven't already and help me grow the Ruby Rocks the World family. It would seriously mean the world to me. Follow me on all my social media networks. Links are always in the down bar below. Like I said, I post a lot about SoulCycle and fitness and my gym sessions on my Instagram, so if you're not following me there already, I really recommend that you do. I hope you guys are having an awesome day, night, afternoon, whenever you all are watching this video, and I will talk to you guys in my next one. Okay? Bye everybody.